Even though it's a very parochial home crowd for the Cowboys, they still acknowledge what a good side Canberra are. Let's have a look at the Canberra side tonight. And from fullback, where Ken Nagus is, right through to the prop forwards in Quinton Pongia and Luke Davaco, and you look at the bench too with people like Jason Croker and Brett Hetherington. Gee, it's a top side.
Well, it certainly is, John. I mean, there's how many sides running around in Sydney would love to have preserves like Croker and Hetherington on their books.
Yeah, wonderful side Canberra, coached by the big fella himself. Melvin Inga did his apprenticeship under great coaches like Wayne Bennett and particularly Tim Sheens, but he'd love to beat Tim Sheens tonight, who's in charge of the Cowboys. As we see the North Queensland Cowboys making their way down the tunnel, led out by Steve Wallace. Of course, a major blow to lose Ian Roberts to injury from England. And then, of course, John Lomax, their other prop forward, along with Reggie Cressbrook, originally named in the side, but then dropped for disciplinary reasons. Apparently, they missed a curfew during their stay in England. And Tim Sheens, strong disciplinarian that he is, has elected to go without them. So we see Scott Mann come in at fullback. Scott Mann, who missed the tour to England, wasn't selected to go over on the 3-week tour to England, and John Buddicky into the front row in place of John Lomax, coached of course by Tim Sheens. So this should be a terrific clash tonight. There is Scott Mann. Johnny Lomax just making his way out. He will sit on the bench even though he's played almost a full game in reserve grade. Excellent crowd. Even when you have a relatively small crowd here in North Queensland, they make a lot of noise. But tonight there's a brilliant atmosphere as Tim Sheens comes out to position himself on the bench. North Queensland to take the kick-off. So the clash is underway as Canberra bring it out from their own 20. As they do so, we might go sideline to Matt McEwen to check on conditions down at ground level.
Well, I think the players are very happy. It was only 19 degrees just about 15 minutes ago, but it's dropped appreciably in the last few minutes. There isn't a breath of wind though, John, so it's very humid, so it should be a physical test for these guys.
Thanks, Matt McEwen, as we see Brett Clyde take it to the halfway mark. That's where he's put to ground. Back to Ricky Stewart. Stewart using the kick, just getting it in behind Justin Lumens. And that brilliant tactical kick of Ricky Stewart makes an easy gain of about 30 metres. And this scrum will pack down only about 10 metres out, in fact, about 12 metres out from the North Queensland line. Brett Kenny, a lot of talk about Ricky Stewart, that he's been playing wounded. He just hasn't, over the last few weeks, look the Ricky Stewart of old, maybe carrying just a couple of niggling injuries. Be interesting to see how he performs tonight with the semi-finals just around the corner.
Yeah, John, he probably has had a few injuries. I mean, if you're going to go into games with injuries, you've got to expect the top criticism, and he probably hasn't been playing at his usual best. But I think, as from tonight, I think with the atmosphere that we've got here now, you'll probably see the best come out in Ricky Stewart.
Luke Davaco going in with a shot that was high on Martin Locke. No damage done, but Steve Clark gives the penalty. That was all that was required. Let's have a look at it again.
Oh, it's a little high there, John. It's just a welcome hit, that's all it was.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Penalty, the most it deserved. Perhaps he was even a little unlucky to get penalised for it. However, just a settling penalty, I guess, from Steve Clark, as North Queensland have it 32 out. This is John Buddicky. Almost got through, then was wrapped up by Quinton Pongia. Played back to Steve Walters, giving his pass away to John Doyle. 4 tackles gone. Ray Mercy. Been in great try-scoring form for the Cowboys. Taken ball and all low by Brett Mullins. Now away to Andrew Duneman, and Duneman kicks across field towards Lumen's wing. Batted back for Kyle Warren. Listen to the crowd roar as there's a chance for the Cowboys to even come close to scoring. They love their football in North Queensland.
And this is a great atmosphere, John. I tell you, the noise is horrific. I mean, I can hardly hear you talking sometimes.
Well, I mean, I suppose when you talk about atmosphere in rugby league, you talk about state of origin games at Lang Park. But by golly, this crowd here in North Queensland, when they get themselves going, there's not many can rival them.
That's for sure, and as we see there, that was great defensive work by Ruben Ricky then. After that, that was a great bomb by Andrew Duneman.
So it's Canberra in possession, 35 out from their own line. Luke Critter struggling his way through. Scott Mann eventually clings to him. 5 tackles gone on the last. Ricky Stewart kicks out towards Justin Lumens, takes it 30 from his own line. Head down, tries to burrow under the tackle of Ben Kennedy. Penalty North Queensland, the Raiders all up in front of the referee, offside. So the chance for the Cowboys to put some pressure on. Andrew Duneman finding touch inside the red zone of the Canberra Raiders. Quick tap by Walters, given away to Martin Locke. And another penalty. He certainly endeared himself to the home crowd here, Steve Clark. 2 quick penalties and now a shot at goal coming up for Luke Phillips.
Well, he was talking to the Canberra players as the ball was thrown in for the quick tap by the Cowboys, and of course they never reacted, and therefore he had to penalise them.
So Luke Phillips been in magnificent goal-kicking form. As we see Martin Locke losing the ball, but the Canberra players ruled offside. Yes, Luke Phillips will have the shot at goal. He kicked, what, I think 8 out of 8 against Leeds at Headingley last weekend. Interesting thing about Luke Phillips, he turned 22 during the week, or so we think, because he didn't have a birthday. As we watch the kick, looks good. 2-0 it is in favour of North Queensland. And the reason Luke Phillips didn't have a birthday, his birthday was on the 4th of August. He left London with the Cowboys to come home on the 3rd. And crossing with time zones,
got home on the 5th.
He got home on the 6th, I think. Didn't actually have a birthday, but they believe he did turn 22. They've celebrated anyway. Great kick, Luke Phillips. And so 2 points to 0 it is in favour of North Queensland as Duneman makes the restart. Trapped by Ricky Stewart and immediately put to ground by Luke Scott. So the Raiders coming just outside their own 20 as it's played by Quinton Pongia. David Furner makes some good hard yards up the middle, put over by Doyle. Stewart, cut out pass to Brett Mullins. Mullins gets it away then to Noah Nandruku. He steps around Scott Mann. He's being chased now by the North Queensland defence. They won't get him. And the flying Fijian Noah Nandruku goes in to score the first try of the game. Tim Sheens, knowing all about the attacking potency of the Canberra Raiders. This was brilliant work, though, by Canberra. Well sized up, good pass by Mullins to put Nandruku clear. Stepped around Scott Mann, and then there was no catching him.
Yeah, it was good play by the Raiders. On the blind side, a good cut-out pass too, which enabled Mullins to get outside his man, as we'll see here. There's the cut-out pass. Mullins outside his man, draws a winger in. Noah Nandruku still had a fair bit of work to do. Nice step inside Scotty Mann. Once he saw the opening there was no way they were going to stop him.
Chased all the way by Doyle and also Cunningham, but there was no getting him. Noah Nandruku, the try scorer for Canberra. And now the chance for David Furner to convert the Nandruku try. Hooked across the face of goal by David Furner, so 4 points to 2 it is in favour of the Canberra Raiders over the North Queensland Cowboys.
Well, John, while the Cowboys have started with a lot of enthusiasm, Canberra's shown a lot of professionalism. They've achieved their 6 tackles each time they've had the ball, and again they've done it. They're able to use the blind side and of course put Noah Nandruku away for a great try.
I suppose the thing when you look at that try, Brett Kenny, as we see North Queensland bring it back out from their own 20, is if you allow players like Brett Mullins to get on the outside of you, you're going to have all sorts of problems.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, that's what the Cowboys have got to try and do.
Ben Kennedy, after a mistake by North Queensland, Ben Kennedy picks up a loose ball. He'll race away and score. 2 tries in the space of about 90 seconds to the Canberra Raiders. And Ben Kennedy. No wonder Canberra say they've got him under lock, stock and barrel until about 1999. He's such a thrilling youngster, this kid. Simple mistake. Laurie Daly just picked it up. Away to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy was able to get on the outside of Doonerman and sprint away to score.
Showed a good turn of pace because Andrew Doonerman, as we know, has got a bit of pace himself, and there was a bit of a stutter by Ben Kennedy, which sort of stopped. There we see it there, straightens up, stops Doonerman, gets outside of him, runs away for a great try. And this has been a very professional start by the Raiders. As we know, the crowd, you could probably hear them. They're very vocal and they're right behind the local boys, the Cowboys. But, geez, you know, this Canberra side, they just keep rolling on, and they play out their 6 tackles again and again, and they're starting to put pressure back on the Cowboys.
Well, there's the captain, Steve Walters. He knows all about the attacking brilliance of Canberra, having spent so many years with the Canberra Raiders, and he knows you simply can't make mistakes like that. Losing the ball as Martin Locke did, just out from his own 20. Laurie Daly quickly getting it, giving it away to Ben Kennedy, and through the gap he went. The score untouched, and David Furner, the attempt to take Canberra into double figures, which he does. 10-2 it is in favour of the Raiders.
Just a simple mistake there, John. He probably took his eye off the ball, had a look at the defence, and of course the Raiders are very good at taking the ball back, and they just receive the ball, quick passes out, and Ben Kennedy goes, scores down under the post.
Well, after a good start by North Queensland, Canberra have hit back with 2 quick tries. Now, I'm sure that the advice has gone out from Tim Sheens. Just settle it down. Just complete a couple of sets. Make sure of that ball security.
That's exactly right, John. They've got to be able to complete a couple of sets of 6. And also, I feel that they must be the next side to score.
Tim Sheens looking a worried fellow at the moment.
I wonder how much of that gun is going to go through tonight.
Another ball going to ground by North Queensland, but it was touched by Canberra, so the tackle count restarts, rules referee Stephen Clark. Martin Locke right on the halfway mark. Steve Walters turned inside to Martin Locke. Don't know that he really expected that ball to come to him. Andrew Doonerman. Doonerman switching the pass back on the inside. They're 30 metres out from the line. That's where the ball is played back by Buttigieg. Now away to Steve Walters, who runs it almost up to the 20. Doonerman with the ball in hand, misses out Cunningham to pick up Kyle Warren, turns it back on the inside to Paul Bowman. Bowman, 18 metres out from the Canberra line. The bomb, across field. Up they go for it. Brett Mullins has come down with it. He had a collision with Kenny Nagas, but Brett Mullins, well, there was a lack of communication between the two. But I'll say this for them, with the noise the crowd makes, you probably couldn't have communication anywhere, but the brilliance of Brett Mullins was able to come down with the ball and bring it out then to the 20 for the restart.
They probably had 2 of the best guys to leap in the air at that stage, in Mullins and Mandzuka. The Cowboys now receive the ball back after a mistake by Canberra.
So North Queensland back in possession as Walters gives his pass away. This is Luke Scott. Tackle made by Luke Prittis and Ben Kennedy. Owen Cunningham. Cunningham 10 out from the line. Underneath again went Prittis. Martin Locke runs straight at Stewart. Gets the pass back well to Doonerman. Doonerman able to give his pass away, just a short one. Picked up by Buttigieg, now across field to Doonerman. Doonerman to Kyle Warren. The defence is good though as he slammed the ground 5 metres out from the line. Doonerman with the long pass to Bowman, couldn't take it. Paul Bowman not able to pull the pass in.
Oh, I guess it was a little bit of a speculator here. It was a long pass, long floating pass, a little bit out in front. It's actually, the Cowboys were very lucky that Royston Lightning never picked that ball up, otherwise he was away unopposed.
So Canberra leading by 10 points to 2. After 2 tries in the space of just as many minutes. And Royston Lightning almost threw another gap. After the scrum win by Canberra, Laurie Daly, long wide pass out wide Nandruku, and he's going to be pushed into touch.
Canberra lost, thank you. Cowboys feet loose.
Well, it was the tactics were obvious from Laurie Daly to try and get outside the North Queensland defence, but it's worked against him this time.
Yes, with the ball bouncing, made it very difficult. Nandruku did very well to actually contain the ball, but of course he was very close to the sideline. It was good defence by the Cowboys. They're in a great attacking position here.
So that's where the scrum will pack.
Hold, fellas, hold it.
Just got to wait for the ball to be retrieved.
It could be a blind. Don't be surprised to see the Cowboys use a blindside play.
Duneman, in fact, goes to the open to Mercy, then back to the Doyle. Now he gives it on the blind side to Luke Phillips, a former Canberra Raider himself. Phillips tackled by Ricky Stewart. Luke Scott tried to crash his way through. 5 metres out is where he is dragged to ground. Duneman, another long pass, out wide to Ray Mercy. Mercy going for the line, tackled only centimetres short. Bowman's the dummy half. Goes himself, Paul Bowman, and gets through. Canberra went to sleep. Listen to the crowd. Don't think they did it like that. Well, they went to sleep, the Canberra defence. They didn't expect Bowman to go himself. He sold them a dummy and straight through to score.
Well, it's a good decoy run. You'll see the decoy run there. There was Ruben Wiki. Took his eye off the dummy half. He was more worried about the guy coming through because he's run through there and scored a great try, and that's exactly what the Cowboys needed. They needed to score next. That'll give them a lot of courage now, and I think they realise that they can score tries against this Canberra Raiders side.
Well, as far as the crowd were concerned, that was just what the doctor ordered. The thing about Stockland Stadium, magnificent facility for viewing rugby league, because no matter where you are in the ground as a spectator, you're so close to the action, but the noise is just deafening.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, you're tempted to sort of throw a pair of boots on and get out there yourself.
Great kick, Luke Phillips. Magnificent strike. I know a lot has been said about the goal kicking of Ryan Girdland this season for obvious reasons for Penrith, but this young fella, Luke Phillips, in both general play and in goal kicking, has gone ahead under the coaching of Tim Sheens in leaps and bounds. That was a great strike. So 10-8 and North Queensland back in business. This is shaping as one heck of a game.
It's almost like a grand final atmosphere up here.
Kenny Nagus just outside his own 20. Luke Navico. Quinton Pongia brushed away from Steve Walters. Buttigieg and Duneman hold on to him near halfway. That was a good run though by DeVico, and now Luke Prudis makes another 5 metres out of dummy half. Laurie Daly took that ball so cool and calm and then puts in a kick. But it's going to be too long by Laurie Daly. That's probably a surprise mistake by Laurie, because when he took that ball, he just looked to have so much time, as is normally the case for Daly, and the good players always have time to do things, as you did on so many occasions, Brett Kenny, but...
And never did much.
But a mistake by Laurie. He would have been very disappointed to have seen that ball go over the dead ball line.
Yeah, because it was a very good set of six. As I said before, you know, the Canberra side are very professional, and you know, the enthusiasm shown by the Cowboys and the crowd being behind them, you know, the Canberra side just keep going and going. It was a good set of six, but unfortunately, as you said, the kick was a little bit too long from Daly.
Right on halfway is where Owen Cunningham is dragged to ground by Ben Kennedy. Steve Walters. Canberra defence well alert to how good Steve Walters is out of dummy half. This is Scott Mann away to Lock, and then it goes to Doyle, and on the last, Doyle puts up a kick under a fair bit of pressure. Nagus waits for it and takes it. And runs it back, so that's the zero tackle on the kick return. Bowman and Duneman the tacklers. Bradley Clyde. That's tackle number 1 and a penalty.
15 with a flop. He was already tackled. No, coming the second tackler.
John Buttigieg. That's Martin Locke, but the player who was penalised was John Buttigieg, coming over the top. There he is now.
See, I mean, that is a silly penalty, because they've taken all the pressure off the Raiders now, and now they're attacking that 50 metres up the Cowboys' line.
So back on halfway as Noah Nandruku comes in off the right wing into centre field. Ben Kennedy drives it deep inside North Queensland territory. Again on the short side, DeVico back to Prudis, then to Pongia up the middle. Pongia was able to get his pass back to Ken Nagus. He was almost through. Ricky Stewart, the long ball. Mullins kept it going for Noah Nandruku, but ruled by Steve Clark to have been knocked forward.
Pass with him, he was all right, flick forward off his hand.
Going forward off the hand of Brett Mullins.
Well, it's a little hard, I guess, to judge from that angle, but as we heard the referee say, he thought it did go forward off Mullins' hand.
And he was in a very good position too, Steve Clark, in centre field to see that. So North Queensland in possession, but the ball lost by Ray Mercy. Tackle number 1 for North Queensland. Mercy loses the ball, so here's a great attacking position now for Canberra. 30 metres out, right in centre field. An attack to the left or right.
No hands involved in that. And again, as we've seen before, the Cowboys unable to complete their set of sets, and they've put themselves under more pressure with the Raiders in a great attacking position.
Melvin Inga's gone to the bench for the first time. Jason Croker and Brett Hetherington have both gone on.
Thanks Matt McEwen as Laurie Daly makes a half break, almost a three-quarter break. He's only 5 metres out from the line, Daly, and they work it onto the short side. Brett Hetherington just onto the field, able to unload the pass, quickly across field to Ricky Stewart. Ducks under one, got it back to Luke Priddis. Priddis dragged the ground, 8 metres out from the line. Priddis, he'll play the ball to David Furner. Furner gives it away to Stewart, who turns it back on the inside. Canberra, only 5 out from the line. Back to Luke Priddis. Burrows from dummy half. Jason Croker is the dummy half. Goes himself, Croker. Held on to by Owen Cunningham. 5 tackles gone. From Priddis to Stewart, rolls it into the end goal. They're all going back for it. North Queensland get to it.
Line drop out.
Well, that was great play by both sides. I tell you what, John, this crowd is worth 2 or 3 men to the Cowboys in defence. You could just see them lifting the players. And this is a great little kick by Ricky Stewart. Fortunately enough, they were able to ground the ball, the Cowboys, but still they're under some more pressure from this Canberra Raiders side.
So the goal line drop out by Andrew Duneman.
Well, they have got 2 extra men, the Cowboys. Glenn Murphy and Peter Jones have just left the interchange bench or on the field.
Thanks, Matt McEwen. 30 metres out again, Canberra. Bradley Clyde. Priddis gives it away to Stewart. Back to Priddis. This is Hetherington. Brett Hetherington on the 3rd tackle. Plays the ball. Across field to Ken Nagus. Nagus had Mullins looming up on the outside. Smothering North Queensland defence, though, puts him to ground. Hetherington turns it back to Nandruku. Ray Mercy makes the tackle on him. Touched by North Queensland. The tackle count was restarted, but then the ball lost and North Queensland come up with it. So the Cowboys ball just 10 out from their own line. Peter Jones brings it outside his own 20. Duneman switching it back on the inside, and then a crushing tackle by Brett Hetherington. That tackle was made on Glenn Murphy. Steve Walters. Good play by Walters. Just a settling run, bringing it out of his own territory to halfway. Duneman coming back across field. Peter Jones, good hands by Jones to take it, but then the kick is far too deep by Jones, out on the full. From 10 inside his own half, it's where the changeover goes to Canberra.
Well, that was good pressure then, I think, by Ricky Stewart. It was a good chase. Put a lot of pressure on Andrew Duneman because he's got the pass away, and of course Jones has put a big kick. It went about 30 metres, but out on the full. And again, we see the Cowboys putting themselves under more pressure.
So North Queensland through Canberra rather, through Jason Croker. Now to Bradley Clyde. Good run by Clyde. Almost down to the Cowboys 20. Laurie Daly runs it, then steps back in field off the left foot and loses the ball.
just tried to do just that little bit too much. You see he almost broke through. I think he realised then he should have just held onto the ball.
Well, less than 3 minutes on the bench for Luke DeVico, and he's back on the field replacing Luke Prittis.
Interesting stat that with equal possession, hit-ups in the game so far, 31 to North Queensland, 18 to the Raiders, which just shows how the Raiders are willing to throw that ball wide so often. Now a penalty. Raked out penalty, rule Steve Clark.
Who do you think the penalty went to, Scott?
Not hard to figure out, is it?
No. It'd be interesting to see what the tackle count is. I mean, Cowboys have seemed to have done a lot of tackles.
Well, the missed tackle count, I can tell you, North Queensland have missed 5 and the Raiders just 1. Talking of the Canberra Raiders, for our viewers on Fox Sports at half-time, one of our guests is going to be Kevin Neal, the Chief Executive of the Canberra Raiders. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say, given that he was one of the leaders of the move to Super League, to hear what he has to say about the talks of this week on compromise. So it's North Queensland in possession, 35 metres out from the Canberra line. The Raiders leading by 10 points to 8. Peter Jones. Andrew Duneman running it, showing it, missing out a couple, misses out. Cunningham still going. Duneman switches it back on the inside. Bowman only a couple of metres out from the line. Almost got his second try, Paul Bowman. Back again to the blind side. Duneman to Lumans. Lumans putting a little kick ahead. It's going to be fielded though by Nagus. Terrific football, both sides. Well done, Ken Nagus.
Oh, that was great scrambling defence by the Raiders. Very good run by Andrew Duneman, showing a lot of speed there. But fortunately enough for the Raiders, they had plenty of scrambling defence. They've been able to keep the Cowboys out.
Young Andrew Duneman, I know a lot has been spoken about him, but he's just playing with so much confidence, as evidenced by that break he almost set up. A player who's had great skills, Andrew Duneman. In fact, your old sparring partner, Peter Sterling, once said that he was the best schoolboy footballer he'd ever seen, which is an enormous rap.
Well, it certainly is, but I mean, I think he deserves it. He's playing, as I say, very well with a lot of confidence. And, you know, he's still only very young, only 21 years of age.
Certainly is, as the kick downfield by Stewart will find touch just outside the North Queensland 20.
Don't you wish you were 21 again, John, or can't you remember when you were 21?
No, the memory is fading. David Furner having a breather. And I would think that both coaches would be freely using the interchange bench tonight, because for Canberra particularly, coming from the freezing cold of Canberra up here to the heat of North Queensland, it can be really energy sapping, and it has been a very warm day. Even though it has cooled down, as Matt McEwen said, to about 19, 20 degrees at the moment, still the humidity, even for midwinter, is pretty high.
I think also, John, the players were very happy to see a scrum packed down. They walked to the scrum, but they're getting very tired because of this humidity.
This is John Doyle. The Cowboys 5-8. Here goes Duneman once more. Running it and showing it, and out to Paul Bowman. They're linking well together, Duneman and Bowman, but now losing the ball. So a chance now for Canberra. The Raiders, 12 inside North Queensland territory. Clyde on the short side to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy gives it back to Ruben Wiki. Wiki tried to bust his way through the North Queensland defence. Ricky Stewart to Brett Hetherington. Loses the ball, tackle made by Jones. Suppose you have to say too, Brett Kennedy, with the humidity as it is, probably the ball a little slippery. But there's been some big hits to help jolt that ball free, and now the penalty to North Queensland. Canberra inside the 10.
Well, he'd called Croker back, I think 2 or 3 times, and of course Croker stayed there, made the tackle, had no other alternative but to give the penalty.
So that penalty count, 5-1 in favour of the Cowboys. That's a telling stat in this game. Just outside the Canberra 20 to Doonerman. Again shows it, just gives a short pass on to Luke Scott. Inside the red zone of the Raiders. Glenn Murphy. Hard run by Murphy. Takes it to 10 metres from the line. Quick play the ball. On the blind side they go. Only 1 metre out from the line. Ball lost. Steve Walters losing the ball.
Coming in.
I think you'll see it was a good hit by Laurie Daly. He's jolted the ball from his arms. It's unfortunate for the Cowboys. The Laurie Daly coming over the top.
Ricky Stewart, the player underneath. Probably Steve Walters dirty that those two made him lose the ball.
And the changes continue, John. John Buttigieg's on, and Luke Critis has gone back on for the Raiders.
12 out from their own line. Brett Mullins playing it. Noah Nandruku, second tackle. Quinton Pongia. A look at possession. Favouring North Queensland. And in their own half, Canberra 57% of the time inside their own territory, the Raiders.
That's a surprising statistic when you think, you know, look like Canberra were well and truly on top early.
Ricky Stewart's kick. Scott Mahon thought about trying to pick it up, then decided it was going to be a bit hard to do so.
I think the players are getting very tired out there, John. A lot of times now they're starting to walk to the scrums. As we said earlier, the humidity is very high and must be very tough for the Canberra side, coming from a cold climate down there in Canberra.
Brett Hetherington.
You've got to get him off, get it cleaned up. Take him off.
Being told to go and get that cut cleaned up by the Canberra trainer. They wanted some running repairs on the field. Steve Clark says, no, you've got to go off the field to have that attended to.
Bradley Clyde won't be too happy. He just got off. He's going back on again.
With a smile on his face, he was walking to the cool, quickly disappeared.
Oh, here's a mistake. Andrew Doonerman. Well, he's done so many things right, but he will be kicking himself about that. At the base of the scrum, knocks on.
Well, this has been a problem for the Cowboys. They're making too many handling errors. There we see Andrew Doonerman knocking on. And they put themselves under pressure once again.
Won by Canberra, picked up at the base of the scrum by Clyde, then given away to Ricky Stewart coming on the outside of him. Good defence though, knocked over by Kyle Warren. Luke DeVico, 18 metres out. Luke Critis unloads back to Stewart, who reverses play to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy back to Laurie Daly. Daly almost through. Tackle again made by Kyle Warren. David Furner driving to 5 metres out from the line. Back to Luke Critis. Critis from dummy half, trying to reach out and get the ball down. Luke Scott getting underneath him to drag him back. Away from Furner. Now the long pass out wide to Laurie Daly. Daly kicking into the in goal. It's going to be too deep. Shadowed by Luke Phillips and just goes dead.
He's got ice going through his veins. Here we see Laurie Daly, who was back very deep for that kick. Puts a kick, and again, it's gone a little bit too far. But, oh, geez, you know, he certainly took his time letting that roll over.
Yeah, I think you're right about Luke Phillips. Doesn't seem to have a nerve in his body. So North Queensland, 15 on their own side of halfway. That's where Scott Martin has put over. 7.5 minutes until the break. What a vital time this is coming to half time. 10-8 at the moment in favour of the Raiders. Steve Walters scampers from dummy half again. With Doonerman on the last. Doonerman kicks. Went in behind Royston Lightning. Now, he got fooled completely, Royston Lightning. And Mel Meninga not too happy about it.
Well, this kick turned Royston Lightning inside out. He was...
Here's an interesting little by-play. Justin Lumans it was. He came up and in John Hopewadi style just gave Royston Lightning, a fellow Queenslander, a little pat on the back.
Probably just to thank him for what he just done.
Maybe, but North Queensland, they'll thank him if they can score. Scott Mann coming back inside at the angle, loses the ball, it went backwards. Ray Mercy 10 metres out. Andrew Doonerman to Martin Locke. Driven to ground by Quinton Pongia and David Furner. Doonerman holding the pass up for John Buttigieg, coming flat the prop forward. Good run, Buttigieg. Right on the line, back to Steve Walters. Walters trying to crash his way over. Got it wide, though. It goes to Doonerman. They're still only 2 metres out from the line. Once more to Buttigieg. Held up on the last. Changeover call for. That's as close as you can get. The changeover will be taken right on the Canberra try line.
Well, it may have been close, John, but really, it wasn't the play that the Cowboys needed. They needed to throw the ball wide and possibly put in a little kick. You can see here it was a big charge for the line, but on the last tackle, they certainly need to throw the ball a little bit wider.
So coming towards the 5-minute mark of the first half, as Canberra bring it out from their own line with Quinton Pongia playing the ball.
Few problems for Canberra too. Ruben Wiki hurt his left arm in one of the tackles on the line, holding the Cowboys out there. He's been helped back, but he's in a lot of pain coming to the bench.
Luke Priddis, strong run by Priddis. On the halfway mark is where he plays the ball. Call for by Stewart, turns it in centre field to Jason Croker. 5 tackles. On the last, Ricky Stewart kicks for the line. Won't find it. Scott Mann will pick the ball up just out from his own try line. Then fires a pass back across field. 10 metres out, Luke Phillips plays the ball. Justin Lumans. Martin Locke. Underneath him dives Luke Priddis to make the tackle. The crowd noise when the referee gives a penalty, you'd swear everyone in the crowd had just won goal lotto.
Well, I think too, John, he's helping the referee. They are helping the referee know when the play at the Canberra side's offside.
6-1 is the penalty count to North Queensland. Here goes Andrew Doonerman. Doonerman heading towards the post. Knocked down only 5 metres out. Ray Murphy. Laurie Daly comes over the top to smother him. 1 metre from the line. Peter Jones. Still centimetres short. Steve Walters unloads his pass to Martin Locke. Locke pushed to ground by Ken Nagus, and they pushed them back to 10 metres out from the line. John Buttigieg, another charging run, lost the ball, tried to pop it back to Glenn Murphy, went into the clutches of Brett Hetherington.
They've got to show a lot more patience, the Cowboys. Every time they've got up inside the Raiders 20 or 10 metres, they panic. With a couple of plays left, they're trying to unload that miracle pass. They've just got to show a little bit more patience.
Have to give credit, though, too, to Canberra's defence. It's been right on their own line, and they have been desperate, the Raiders.
The defence has been outstanding tonight.
They know this is a very important game for Canberra. They're their ticket into the semi-finals.
John, and a big blow for them too. Luke DeVico has also had an arm injury. It looks like he's broken his wrist. He's just gone inside the sheds.
Oh, that is a major blow. If it's a serious injury to Luke DeVico, as Scott Mann brings it back. Matt McEwen will keep us in touch with that as soon as there's any news from the Canberra rooms. There's the tackle count. And the missed tackles. North Queensland bring it back to halfway. Glenn Murphy to play the ball right on the halfway mark. Big Peter Jones looking to get his arms free, couldn't unload the pass. Stings Walters, terrific run out of dummy half by Walters. Now in the arms of Ray Mercy. Duneman, across field to Owen Cunningham. Shows it to the outside to Kyle Warren. Over the top comes Kennedy to make the tackle. Jones, left foot kick, Peter Jones. Ray Mercy going through after it. Ball goes back into the clutches of Brett Mullins. It came off Noah Nandruku, went into the arms of Brett Mullins, and he took it right on his own line. Lucky he did too. There was a couple of North Queenslanders sweating on it.
If he didn't, as we see here, if it came, well, it's come off Nandruku. I'm just wondering whether Mullins may have been in front of him. Anyway, the referee saw it and let play on just as well. Mullins was there, though.
Kenny Vegas making a half break. Gets to the last line of defence. His fellow fullback Scott Mann brings him to ground. 1.5 minutes until the break. Canberra getting back to the halfway mark. What a terrific first 40 minutes of football we've had.
This is a danger period for the Cowboys now.
Laurie Daly turns it to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy, who's scored 1 try already. Last tackle coming up for the Raiders with Ricky Stewart. Elects to run. Running it on the last. Sending his pass back across field and caught on the last and dragged to ground. Canberra right up on the 20-metre mark is where Quinton Pongia was eventually knocked over. It was worth a try.
Well, that was great scrambling defence by the Cowboys. If Pongia could have released the ball a couple of seconds earlier, there was a big chance for the Raiders out wide with Brett Mullins standing out there waiting to receive the pass.
Shaped the kick and then elected to run.
Showed a bit of pace too, Quinton Pongia. We had Mullins out there on the right-hand side.
Kyle Warren, the player who dragged him to ground. Warren playing at lock forward, but he's played a lot of his fullback, his football at fullback, Kyle Warren, and that was a fullback's desperation tackle he had to make. Oh, driving tackle by David Furner. Player underneath it was Luke Phillips. Peter Jones kicking down for Noah Nandruku. Follows his kick, Peter Jones, tackles Nandruku. Hooter sounding for half-time. Fantastic first half of football. And the big crowd getting their money's worth tonight here at Stockland Stadium. At half-time, the Canberra Raiders in front by 10 points to 8 over the North Queensland Cowboys.
You're watching Fox Sports. August on Fox Sports. Rugby Union, live Tri-Nations Tournament, Bledisloe Cup, exclusive New Zealand Provincial Championship, and Currie Cup. Super League, the championship race hots up, live. Baseball, US Major League, live. Golf, the US PGA Tour, live and exclusive. Motorsport, Superbikes and World Motorcycle Grand Prix, live. Tennis, WTA and ATP Tours, live and exclusive. Boxing, big-time boxing, classic bouts, live championship fights. Basketball, NBL, live, WNBL. And soccer, nationwide league, plus the German and Scottish leagues begin, live and exclusive. Committed to coverage of the world's great events. Nobody plays sport like Fox Sports. Nobody.
Hello, Antenna TV Land.
If you thought TV1 couldn't get any bigger,
I didn't know that was possible.
think again.
That's the most ridiculous, preposterous idea I've heard.
We've got more.
Big, big, big. I'm hoping.
More of television's greatest hits.
All right, let's take it from the top. What do we got?
We've got I Love Lucy,
My goodness!
The Honeymooners.
You're the greatest.
So,
Everyone in this house is one way or another totally deficient as a human being.
Murder, She Wrote,
Well, that's awfully nice, thank you.
The Monsters,
Our picture in homes all over the country.
Simon and Simon,
My name is AJ Simon. We're detectives.
Hawaii Five-0,
My name's McGarrett. What's yours?
Dream On,
I'm Martin Tupper, and I'm basically being held hostage here.
Dragnet.
You gonna bust us or just bore us to death?
And there's only one place to get it.
I just don't understand it. How could that be?
More of television's greatest hits.
Hook 'em, Denner.
Now on TV1.
This is going to be one of the biggest television programs to hit town in years.
TV1, television's greatest hits.
You're watching Fox Sports.
So to a great roar again from the home crowd. The Cowboys come out for the second half. An important 40 minutes of football for both of these teams. As you said, Brett Kenny, if they can win tonight, North Queensland, and put a couple more wins together, who knows what might happen. You've got to be in it to win it. But Canberra know this is a game that they really just cannot afford to drop.
It's a difficult game for Canberra because it's probably a game that everyone expected them to win. And as I say, if they lose this one, they're going to slip away from the fight.
So the restart taken by Canberra. Canberra running from the southern end. Little or no breeze this evening. Just warm, rather humid conditions here at Stockland Stadium. And the Cowboys just out from their own 20. John Buttigieg to play the ball on tackle number 3. Steve Walters handing it back to Buttigieg. Now with Andrew Duneman, switching the pass back on the inside. Owen Cunningham tackled as he is. Let's take you to Craig Bellamy on the sideline, assistant coach to Mel Meninga. Just looking at the pictures, Craig, at half-time of the coach talking to his side, he didn't look all that happy.
Oh, no, obviously we're in the game well, but we got off to a good start, but a couple of handling errors in our own half cost us dearly, and the Cowboys build on that, and you know, we've got a real game on our hands here.
Craig, did Mel mention the fact that Andrew Duneman is controlling the Cowboys play, and he's the guy that really the Canberra Raiders have to slow down?
Oh yeah, we knew that before the game, Brett. That you know, he's a danger. He's been in real good form the last few weeks, and we're well aware that he is our main danger.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks for talking with us, Craig Bellamy.
No worries, John.
What Mel Meninga had to say at half-time to the Canberra Raiders. Canberra, having got a penalty, are up on the 30-metre mark of North Queensland. Long pass, not a good one. Laurie Daly couldn't get it. Came off a North Queensland hand, and then Laurie Daly was able to dive on it. So that's probably more good luck than good management for Canberra, but the tackle count restarts nevertheless, and this is black flag. Brett Hetherington unloading his pass back to Luke Prittis. Prittis almost getting through. 8 metres out from the line, in the hands again of Brett Hetherington. Back to Quinton Pongia. Pongia gives it away to Kenny Nagus. Nagus is over the line. Has he grounded it? You can tell him, and he has. Ken Nagus scores the try. Vital try for Canberra in the opening couple of minutes of the second half.
This is something that the Cowboys didn't really need. They would have been looking to come up with the first try of the second half. Here we have to see the hit up here by Ben Kennedy. Unloaded to Prittis. Prittis, a very good run there. They were a bit fortunate there, Canberra, when they received the ball back, had 6 tackles again. There's a lob pass over to Ken Nagus. Took 2 players with him. And yes, he was able to ground the ball. Interesting to note too, the referee didn't bother to ask whether it was a try. He just gives you a decision straight away.
Yeah, had no doubts about it, Steve Clark. And from almost in front, here's David Furner. And 16-8 it is. I guess you have to say that they were probably a little lucky, Canberra, because that pass from Ricky Stewart, one of the rare bad passes that he threw on the bounce out to Laurie Daly. North Queensland tried to get it, got a hand to it, and so 6 tackles to go for Canberra, and they've scored on the end of the 6.
Yes, it didn't help having to have another 6 tackles to defend against.
16 points to 8 in favour of the Canberra Raiders. Let's take you down to Murray Hurst, the assistant coach to Tim Sheens for the North Queensland Cowboys. And Murray, that's the start of the second half you didn't want.
No, that's exactly right, John. At 10-8 going in at half-time, we were quite comfortable, although we'd made a lot of errors in the first half. But we were talking about completing sets early in the second half and obviously being a bit urgent in defence and playing the middle. But you know, 6 points against us straight up has put us on the back foot again.
And you mentioned there about having to play out the sets of 6. That was one of the problems we felt, that the Cowboys, they weren't completing each set of 6 and they're putting themselves under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. We, you we had a couple of good sets of six where we put them under pressure, but there was some where we got lost. We got really lost, and particularly on their try line. So it may be a case of a few of our boys being a bit, what I'm saying, looking up to the people who are opposite them and putting the faces there and being a bit intimidated. That's what the word I was looking for.
Thanks, Murray. Murray Hurst, assistant coach to Tim Sheens, and it's the Cowboys attacking immediately. Kyle Warren put the ground on tackle number 5, and he's 10 metres out from the Raiders line. Andrew Duneman. Duneman uses the kick. It's slewed off the side of the boot, and a penalty goes to Canberra.
Kicker, fellas.
Not the sort of kick Andrew Duneman wanted, and the players in front of the kicker didn't give the Canberra player then 10 metres. In fact, they had no hope of giving him 10 metres. They're only a couple of metres out from the line.
Yeah, it was unfortunate there, as you say. It wasn't the type of kick that he was looking for. Of course, now that relieves the pressure from the Raiders.
16-8 it is in favour of Canberra. Quinton Pongia, 11 inside his own territory. Brett Hetherington with a hard run. Ran into an equally hard tackle, though, from the defence. Luke Scott goes in to make another tackle. With Ricky Stewart, holds it up and then sends it wide to Ben Kennedy, caught by Bowman. The pass fired to Owen Cunningham.
Right, up you go, mate. Take him off.
Steve Walters with blood pouring out of a head clash.
A bit of claret there, isn't it?
Tackle.
Certainly is.
Yeah, take him off, Brian. Yeah, that's all right. We're not starting till he comes on. That's his first. Hold it, Owen.
So Steve Walters going to the blood bin. Peter Jones will come on to replace him. That's going to keep the doctor busy for the next few minutes. Jones giving a pass that was very close to being forward. Martin Locke giving it back to Peter Jones.
Peter Jones, he's in offside position.
There's the ruling by Steve Clark. Pass given to a player in an offside position.
I don't... unless it's touched the player behind, because that just looked like a simple pass.
Again, referee Stephen Clark was right over the ruck. He was the closest person to it.
Well, for the first time tonight, John Lomax is coming to the sideline and will go onto the field.
John Lomax dropped to reserve grade for disciplinary reasons. But, of course, a former Canberra Raider, he'll relish the opportunity to be out there against his old side tonight. Here's David Furner. Furner turning it inside to Ken Nagus. 20 metres out from the North Queensland line. Stewart again reverses play to Laurie Daly. Out on the right-hand side. Daly trying to drive through the tackles. John Buttigieg puts him over. Critis blindside. Out to Hetherington. Hetherington giving it away to Nandruku. Up goes Scott Mann to take the ball. And the zero tackle as Scott Mann put over 10 out from his own line.
It's been very good defence by the Cowboys. One player in particular that they've kept intact tonight has been Laurie Daly. We only saw him make a couple of breaks in the second half, in first half, sorry. And they've really watched him and looked after him tonight, the Cowboys.
Another good half break by Andrew Duneman. It was Laurie Daly who eventually shut that break down. The tackle count, Canberra having made the more tackles, and here's John Lomax to the roars of the North Queensland crowd. On halfway, Peter Jones makes a break. Got past David Furner, couldn't get away from Ricky Stewart. Doyle putting the ball high in the air, taken by Kenny Nagus. Outside his own 20 comes Nagus, and is put over on the zero tackle, 30 from his own line.
Well, that was a great take by Nagus, under a lot of pressure, and was able to break free and make a good 10 or 15 metres.
Laurie Daly playing it. Luke Critis elects to run himself on tackle number 2. He's just short of halfway. Again, with Stewart out to Ben Kennedy getting wide. Good tackle, Kyle Warren. He's defended very well tonight, Kyle Warren. Jason Croker. That's the halfway marking screen as Croker plays the ball. Stewart on the blind side again to Ben Kennedy. Had Royston Lightning outside of him. Would have been danger for North Queensland had he got the pass to Lightning. On the last now, in the hands of Laurie Daly. Daly puts up the kick. Scott Mahon out from his own line, takes it, no pressure on him. And the tackle made by Jason Burnham, who's just come onto the field wearing the number 20 for the Canberra Raiders.
Simon Wolford's also gone on wearing the number 9, and the news from the dressing room for Canberra is not good. Ruben Wiki is broken, his arm will be gone for the season. Luke DeVico, it's a dislocated wrist which has actually come through the skin, so he won't be back tonight, and the Canberra club isn't sure exactly when he'll be back on the field.
Well, there they are, the two players you're talking about. Luke DeVico sitting in the chair with a broken arm, and Ruben Wiki with a badly dislocated wrist.
That's the other way around, John. Ruben Wiki with the broken arm.
Sorry, Ruben Wiki with the broken arm. Luke DeVico, the badly dislocated wrist.
It's not a sight that Canberra Raiders supporters would like to see, that's for sure. As we saw there too, the ball was forward.
Fellas, ball's coming.
And typical of this crowd, they weren't real happy about the ruling against the Cowboys.
That is a major blow to the Raiders to lose two key players with such serious injury so close to the finals. Canberra losing the ball on the first tackle. North Queensland lose it, knock on both ways.
Cowboys, first one by Canberra. Cowboys feet loose.
Knocked on both ways. First mistake having been made by Canberra, so the scrum feed to North Queensland.
And just on those injuries too, John, to those two key players, I mean, they're going to be very hard to replace, especially Ruben Wiki out in the centres.
I suppose, Brett Kenny, when you look at the two teams, two of the three that are the front runners, Brisbane and Canberra. Brisbane, of course, without Glenn Lazarus, possibly without Alan Langer, and now two key players for Canberra gone, could have a major bearing on what happens in the at the end of the season. Kyle Warren playing the ball. Doyle giving it away to Bowman. Oh, got under a high shot. Ben Kennedy will be the player called out.
I know he was falling, all right. You still copped him around the head, okay? It's only a penalty, let's just do it.
Yeah, good refereeing, Steve Clark. That's exactly what happened. He realised the player was falling.
Caused by you.
Yeah, he said to Paul Bowman, it was caused by you, you were falling.
He was stepping back inside. I don't know whether he was falling too much, but still a little bit high. But as I say, worthy of a penalty.
Ben Kennedy just helped him fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, good refereeing, that's what it deserved. So North Queensland, 25 out from the Canberra line. Doyle, switch to Lomax. Well read, though, by the Canberra defence. Ricky Stewart read it perfectly. From Mahon, away to Duderman. Now it goes to Jones. Misses out one. Peter Jones tries to straighten up. Gave it back to Bowman. He couldn't take it. Now a fight. Royston Lightning and Paul Bowman into it.
Royston Lightning.
Well, John, this has been threatening to happen for quite a while now. But, you know,
I don't want anyone else. I don't want anyone else. Go away. These two guys. Wait, just listen. Listen. Okay. All right, thank you. Hang on. Come here. It's cool, all right? The penalty's going to be on you throwing that first one, all right? I just spoke to you up there trying to egg these guys on. That's just cool, all right? Let's carry on.
So the penalty has gone against Royston Lightning. Here it is. And Royston Lightning, the player who started it, as we see him flop on Bowman, and then...
Bit of a swinging arm. And
Lightning has struck.
Well, there's a swinging arm when he came with a tackle.
Penalty North Queensland.
Rick, come out here. Rick. No, I'm not saying it was you. You're the captain, all right? I've just spoken to you guys about throwing the ball up there. The next bloke I catch, he's going for 10 in the bin, all right? Now, I don't want any more of it.
Well, the crowd wants someone in the bin immediately. Next one will go to the bin. second half penalties are 4-3 in favour of North Queensland. They were 6-1 to North Queensland at half-time. And North Queensland only a couple of metres out from the Canberra line, desperately wanting to be the side to score next to Cowboys. Doyle showing it, giving back to Lomax. Lomax got his pass back to Murphy. Glenn Murphy, 2 metres out. Scott Marr, away to Doonerman, then given to Kyle Warren. Warren runs into the clutches of Ben Kennedy. Kennedy called out the second time in a couple of minutes.
It's 2 in a row. It was high, it popped him right round the face. It's going on report. All right, you get him down.
Ben Kennedy on report for the high tackle. And the penalty goes to North Queensland, 10 out.
Jason Madam. Back you go. Yep.
Luke Scott.
Right, you got him right, let him go. Let him go.
Murphy a dummy half, giving it away to Buttigieg.
That's 2.
Buttigieg the battering ram. 2 out from the line. Doyle. Back in centre field to Doonerman. Runs it to the line, switches it to Kyle Warren. Kennedy with a smothering tackle. Glenn Murphy goes himself to the blind side. 4 tackles gone, centimetres out. Doonerman. High pass, almost intercepted by Mullins. Lomax picked it up. And with Mullins coming out of the line, there is no one in front of Johnny Lomax, and he goes in to score, and isn't that a popular try? Well, the intercept was on, and Brett Mullins risked his arm, and it didn't come off.
Well, this is the reason why the Cowboys got the ball back because of a head-high tackle, the penalty, and there was a great pass by Andrew Doonerman there. Mullins has come in out of the line, left himself no alternative but to try and get the intercept, and of course the ball was inches away. Once he missed the ball, Lomax was there and has got a bit of pace for a front row forward.
Well, I guess you can say, Brett Kenny, rugby league is a game of centimetres. A couple of centimetres and Brett Mullins has that ball, and he was in underneath the post.
Scores up the other end.
Wasn't it? That's all it took. Here's Luke Phillips.
I think he kicked it.
The radar boot of Luke Phillips strikes. And it's 2 points in it. Canberra 16, North Queensland 14.
The Raiders 16, the Cowboys 14.
Well, it's all happening. Mel Meninga having a talk to Ben Kennedy, who he's taken to the bench, given that Kennedy was penalised for 1 high shot, then penalised and put on report for a second high shot only a couple of minutes later. So that will be looked at by the judiciary next week. 16-14 in favour of the Raiders. Canberra just short of halfway. John Lomax getting very slowly to his feet after making that tackle. Ball played by Simon Wolford. This is Ricky Stewart. Bradley Clyde, another good tackle, Kyle Warren. He's had a terrific game tonight, Kyle Warren. His defence has been just absolutely scintillating. Kick by Ricky Stewart. North Queensland take it. Luke Phillips, good take under pressure, and then driven to ground by Laurie Daly.
And it was a very good shepherd by Ray Mercy. Brett Mullins was flying outside there. Ray Mercy was able to get in between him and the fullback and prevented Mullins from challenging to that ball.
Just outside their own 20, North Queensland. John Lomax recovered from that knock a few moments ago, although he's just limping away. You can see as he played that ball, John Lomax. Matt McEwen will keep an eye on him. Peter Jones. Probably a good kicker of the ball, Peter Jones. Very skillful player. So Noah Nandruku, inside his own 20, throws a floating pass across to Ken Nagus. Royston Lightning hasn't had much to do tonight, Lightning. Play just hasn't gone his way. David Furner Hard run, coming straight and hard, almost to halfway. Simon Wolford. Another good run by Wolford. Gain of 15 hard metres up the middle. Metres out is where the ball is played by Luke Brutus. Now Laurie Daly to Brett Hetherington. Touched by North Queensland. 6 to go. Laurie Daly stepping. Luke Scott gets him. Gets the pass back though to Ken Nagus. Nagus struggling through. 8 metres out. Ricky Stewart. Stewart with a short pass. Only a couple of metres out from the line is where the attacking Raiders stop. This is David Furner. Croker distributes. Away to Ricky Stewart. Overhead pass goes to Laurie Daly. Rushes away from Scott. Gets it around the corner to Brad Clyde. Out over Brett Mullins. Mullins being chased. They won't get him. Brett Mullins goes in to score.
Well, this is a great try, and I mean, there was a few missed tackles by the Cowboys. They're getting very tired. They've under a lot of pressure. Andrew Doonerman flew up on Ricky Stewart, still able to get the good ball away. Scott Mann comes up with a missed tackle on Laurie Daly. This is a great pass around the corner. Bradley Clyde over the top. Brett Mullins, of course, 12 metres away from the line. No one in front of him. You're not going to stop him from there.
Tell you what, he almost went over the dead ball line when you watch this. Maybe he was thinking about bringing the ball around underneath the post as he beat Ray Mercy, who was coming across in cover. Let's watch. Goes, oh yeah, he didn't have all that much room, but he knew where he was.
Well, he may have just realised that he wasn't going to get around, so we sort of better put the ball down now. But that was a great try by the Raiders. They've been under a fair bit of pressure. Cowboys have started the second half very well.
Important kick this for David Furner. They're in front by 6 points at the moment. This can put them further than a converted try in the lead. Couple of metres in from touch. Furner moves in. Great strike, David Furner. Never looked like missing. That went dead set over the black dot.
That was a great pressure goal. A great pressure goal.
I can tell you Tim Sheens wasn't very happy with the yardage that Canberra were making. He tried to get Owen Cunningham onto the field, try and stop it down and put some hard defence in there, but he couldn't get him on in time before the try. And just as I speak, Steve Walters, with a heavy bandage, is about to go back onto the field for the Cowboys.
They definitely need Steve Walters back on the field. I mean, he had some great incisive runs from dummy half, and it's something that Canberra's got to be aware of.
Box head, as he's nicknamed Steve Walters, or the boxers just had a few extra stitches inserted.
Yes. They couldn't tape it up, they had to stitch it up.
22-14 in favour of Canberra. North Queensland, though, not done with yet. John Lomax, 30 out from his own line, is tackled. Owen Cunningham. John Lomax. That's John Scarden, who's just come on the field for North Queensland, wearing the number 25. Andrew Doonerman. Doonerman putting up the high ball. No pressure at all, though, for Ken Nagus. And thrown to ground by John Scarden. Say we're in 25, 35 is the number, in fact, he's got, John Scarden. 30 metres out from their own line, Canberra. This is Quinton Pongia. On the second tackle, he'll play it. Simon Wolford goes a few metres, distributes to Brad Clyde, running hard on the blind side. Good tackle, though, Ray Mercy, to drive Clyde to ground. Through Ricky Stewart. Now to Laurie Daly. They've kept him pretty quiet tonight, Laurie Daly. Is he going to break free in the last 17 minutes? Not this time. Back to Stewart. Drives the kick towards touch. You'd think he had it on a string, Ricky Stewart. Terrific kick. Just slowing things down a little. That's what they need, Canberra. suck those deep breaths in, get a scrum to pack down, walk up to this scrum, and that was a great kick, finding touch just 10 out.
The thing about this Canberra side, John, as we see this kick from Ricky Stewart, one of the best kickers in the game, reads the game very well. But the thing about the Canberra side is, as we pointed out, the Cowboys have kept Laurie Daly pretty quiet, but they've got that many talented players in this team, you just can't afford not to try and keep them all quiet. You can concentrate on one, and of course the other 12 cut you to pieces.
That's pretty true, isn't it? They've got 13 attacking machines you have to shut down.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point, Rick King. And North Queensland working it out from their own red zone. Luke Scott plays the ball to Steve Walters and then away to John Lomax.
John, no wonder the crowd was making so much noise. 22,029.
Good crowd. Over 22,000 tonight here at Stockland Stadium for the Cowboys' last home game of the season. And a good one being turned on as Owen Cunningham makes the break. Jason Croker was coming in to make the tackle. He ran into Stephen Clark, and luckily then for both Stephen Clark and Jason Croker, Owen Cunningham lost his footing. He would have blown up Jason Croker, and Owen Cunningham got all the way, let me tell you. Here's Ken Nagus.
He wasn't a short of a word there.
That was a great pick-up by Ken Nagus. One hand, bouncing ball, picks it up one hand and makes 15 metres.
David Furner playing the ball quickly. They're back inside North Queensland territory by a couple of metres. Noah Nandruku plays it. With Stewart, who turns it back away to Burnham. Then it goes back to Nandruku. Simon Wolford gives it on the short side to Laurie Daly. They sweat on him though. Ray Mercy makes the tackle on Daly. From Furner away to Nandruku. Nandruku, who's been touched 3 times in this set of 6. Maybe just giving the forwards a little bit of a breather. They're on the last. Wolford puts in a kick. Come off North Queensland. Picked up by Canberra. Tackle count restarting now for the Canberra Raiders as Nandruku plays it again. From Stewart. This is Jason Burnham. Burnham turns it back inside to Nagus. Nagus only 2 metres out from the line. Bowman gets to him, drags him to Grant. Away from Burnham. Now on to Brett Hetherington. Loses the ball. Referee rules that it came out legally. Kyle Warren runs it back from their own line for the Cowboys.
Well, they deserved that, the Cowboys. That was great defence there. They had 2 sets of 6 tackles to contend with the Raiders. They've held them out now. They've got the ball back and have just received the penalty. It's relieved a lot of pressure off the Cowboys. And, geez, they're hanging in there. I mean, there's still plenty of time to go, but geez, you know, the Raiders have been playing so well, and their defence for the Cowboys has been outstanding of late.
Well, if they win this game tonight, Canberra, and they're not home yet, let me tell you, not by a long shot with 13 minutes to go, but if they win, even allowing for the 2 serious injuries they've had, I'm sure they'll all agree it's just the ideal hit-out they need with the semi-finals only a couple of weeks away. You don't get much tougher than this.
Well, that's exactly right, and the atmosphere, you know, it's like a semi-final, more like a grand final here tonight.
Steve Walters, 35 out from the Canberra Raiders line as Andrew Doonerman runs it and switches it back inside to Scarton, but the defence closed. He saw a half gap. Luke Prittis was there to close it on him. From Walters to Doonerman. Now it goes to Jones. Back inside to Bowman. Bowman along the ground in the tackle. Brett Hetherington got to him. Doonerman once more. This is John Buttigieg. Loses the ball. Laurie Daly says, thanks, that's mine. Canberra have it. 12 out from their own line.
He had no alternative there. He had to throw the ball. It was the last tackle. There was a bit of a mix-up at the dummy half. The ball got thrown back. Andrew Doonerman had to come forward because didn't have the time to put the kick in.
22-14. Canberra lead North Queensland. Just over 12 minutes remaining here at Stockland Stadium. Luke Prittis tries to go from dummy half. North Queensland's defence sweated on him and put him over. On halfway, it's with Ricky Stewart. Stewart giving it back on the inside to David Furner. Furner knocked over in the tackle of Glenn Murphy. Laurie Daly to Brad Clyde. 5 tackles gone. Here's the last. Standing behind the line, Ricky Stewart drives it away from Luke Phillips, into touch, sucking up just a little bit of spare time for the Raiders. Give them a breather and count the clock down.
I think that's exactly what he's kicked it for the sideline for, is to slow the play down. Cowboys, a little bit of a roll, the crowd's behind them, the atmosphere's great. Slow the play down. He's letting Canberra take control again. Now they've got another couple of minutes breather. They're very, as I said, I've been saying all night, very professional side, the Canberra Raiders.
And of course, when you do have a scrum, what it does allow your defence to do is actually set a defensive pattern.
Exactly right, and it just becomes a man-on-man situation.
Just like that, where Jason Croker and Laurie Daly came up to put Doyle to ground. Scarden turning it back to Luke Scott as they get the 30 out from their own line, the Cowboys. The tackle count heavily in favour of the Raiders. Here's Peter Jones. Burnham goes in to stop him, but he still does well, Peter Jones, to unload. It's with Steve Walters. Now to Paul Bowman. Wrong foot's Ben Kennedy. Can he unload? Justin Lumens almost got it, and then Royston Lightning came up with the ball.
Great hands there, absolutely great hands from Royston Lightning. We haven't seen him do a great deal tonight, but that was unbelievable.
Laurie Daly almost got through. Canberra, a couple of players came quickly up out of the line in an attempt to smother Laurie Daly. He got around them and almost got into open spaces. Over halfway goes Jason Burnham. David Furner. Furner with a gain of 8 metres. The hard metres up the middle. Daly once more with the ball in hand, and the big guns coming to the fore. They're handling a lot now. The big names from Canberra as Brad Clyde plays it. Back to Ricky Stewart. Stewart kicks ahead. They all go for it. North Queensland will come down with the ball. Ray Mercy going to be dragged to ground, almost dragged into touch. Luke Phillips coming away from the touchline. Nandruku the tackler.
The thing the Cowboys must do now is complete this set of 6, and on the 4th or 5th tackle, put in a good kick and start to try and keep Canberra down in their territory for a couple of sets of tackles.
Inside the last 10 minutes as Glenn Murphy almost reaches halfway. Steve Walters getting the pass back. It came from Duneman to Cunningham. Duneman giving it away to Scarden. Switched inside to Jones. Couldn't take it, Peter Jones. He was just having a look at the defence coming up onto him. So Canberra get possession. Luke Critis brings it back to the halfway mark on tackle number 1.
So I think what the Cowboys must think about doing now is putting a little chip over the top.
Clyde out wide to Lightning. He brushed away from Lumens. Got it back inside to Croker. Taken from behind by Bowman. Ball lost. Paul Bowman comes up with it after that tackle by Lumens. So Paul Bowman has it. 10 inside Cowboys territory. Andrew Duneman out wide to Luke Phillips, looking to get on the outside of Brent Mullins. Coming across, though, quickly in cover defence was Laurie Daly. Luke Scott to play it. John Buttigieg. On the 3rd tackle, Buttigieg plays it to Walters. Gets the ball back to Cunningham. Again, just loses his footing, Owen Cunningham. Duneman running it across field, trying to pick up the runner coming flat. Paul Bowman, the player tackled, 22 metres out, 5 tackles gone. Duneman will go to the air. Across field towards Bowman. Up they go for it. Royston Lightning coming down with the ball for Canberra. 5 out from his own line. Kenny Nagus. Across field goes Nagus. Now gives it back inside to Noah Nandruku. Brings it out to 30 metres from his line, Nandruku, as he plays the ball on tackle number 1. They've got men over. Brad Clyde tried to get the pass away. Lightning goes back forward, couldn't get it. Kennedy picks it up, but he went into touch.
Well, he's had an unhappy night. Ben Kennedy's on report for a high tackle.
He ran into touch.
Here we see him. Yes, it's the right foot that's gone on the touchline.
Come out here.
Now, Steve Clark just calling out Laurie Daly for a chat.
You're not the captain. I want to hear from him. He ran into touch. Okay? He ran into touch. He took the advantage away from himself. Through Rick.
They must learn these players. You cannot beat the referee.
Hey, in fact, I was reading an interview with Laurie Daly just today. Laurie Daly said, oh, yes, I have a few words to say to referees. But after the game, I always have a soft spot for them. I know how hard their job is. So he'll have a soft spot for Steve Clark, probably in a couple of days' time. Steve Walters into dummy half. This is Luke Scott. 8 metres. Make that 12 metres from the line. Duneman switching the ball back on the inside. That's the 10-metre line in picture. Walters again. Gives it away to Duneman. Duneman almost got through. It was Laurie Daly who read it and pulled him to ground. Only a couple of metres from the line the ball played. Back to Duneman. On the last. Duneman puts up the high ball. Everyone trying to get the ball. North Queensland have it. Owen Cunningham comes up with it. 6 tackles to go. Across field to Buttigieg. Terrific defence, Jason Croker. Buttigieg looks certain to crash over. Jason Croker held on to him. Over the line and held up, rules referee Stephen Clark. Ray Mercy got over the line, but held up, didn't get the ball down. But the scrum feed will go to North Queensland, 10 out.
John, I'll make a prediction. I know before the game I said the Raiders should win this pretty easily. The Cowboys score now, they'll win the game.
Come on, let's stop talking.
And after his 10 on the sideline, John Lomax is back in the field. Quinn Pongy are also back on for the Raiders with David Furner.
So even though they're behind at the moment by 8, if they can score now, they'll win, Brett Kenny. There is a bold prediction. They've won the scrum. Can they score? Kyle Warren thought he saw the line open, got a hand of the ball and knocked it on.
Well, I've put the mocker on him, haven't I?
You have. The black mock, you will be called from here on in, Brett Kenny. The black mock. Here it is again.
The pass was probably floated a little bit in front of what Kyle Warren there.
So the Raiders, 12 out from their line. Noah Nandruku to play the ball on his own 20. Just out of dummy half. In fact, they're good meters being made by Canberra. They've brought it almost to halfway on 3 tackles after that scrum win.
And they've been doing it very consistently tonight, John. As I said, very professional side.
Another good run, David Furner. Takes it to 8 inside North Queensland's half. And here's Quinton Pongia, and he'll do likewise.
And now you'll see a high bomb put up by Ricky Stewart.
That's a very professional set of 6, and here comes the kick by Stewart. No, he says, I'll just count the clock down. Give Canberra their due. That is, under pressure, as good a set of 6 tackles as you'll ever see.
That's exactly right. I mean, and as we've said, they've done it all night. The Cowboys have got the crowd behind them. They've played with a lot of enthusiasm. But the Raiders just keep going forward, just keep rolling on, and just play out their sets of 6. And they've got very smart tacticians in their side, in Ricky Stewart and Laurie Daly.
Mel Meninga freely using that bench again.
Yeah, I know.
Tell you one thing though, Brett Kenny, North Queensland won't be in the semi-finals this year, but with some of the young talent in this side, they're just learning what this game is all about and what a great coach like Tim Sheens expects. They're going to be a force in the next couple of seasons, no doubt at all.
Oh, for sure, and regardless of how many sides are in a competition, whether there's one competition or 2, yeah, they are going to be an outstanding side in the next few years.
John Lomax sending his pass away. and the ball being lost, but a penalty. Stolen from Peter Jones. 2 going into the tackle rule, Steve Clark. So the Cowboys get the penalty, and Duneman, with a very good kick, takes it down to the 20. That's where the tap will be taken by Steve Walters. Owen Cunningham with a full head of speed. 12 out. They'd love to finish with a try, the Cowboys. Peter Jones to his feet and plays it from Walters away to Lomax and inside to Luke Scott. Scott trying to burrow his way through. Tackled by Luke Brittis. On the short side to Peter Jones. Jones getting his pass away and lost the ball, in fact. Ball lost right on the line.
This is great defence by the Raiders. They're the ones that are supposed to be under all the pressure. Jones there throwing the ball. I think he was looking for a cut-out pass. Unfortunately, the player was looking, he was running into a gap, couldn't take the ball. But that's been great defence by the Raiders.
A terrific defence by Canberra. They have been under the hammer for the last few minutes. And they've just dug deep and held on. Considering, of course, as we said, that they've got 2 of their best defensive players, Luke DeVico and Ruben Wiki, with very serious injuries. So it's been a terrific defensive effort by Canberra, and they must be tired. The heat would have taken plenty out of them, particularly in the last 10, 12 minutes of the game. And they really have had to dig deep, but they're a champion side, and that's just what they've done.
Well, as you said, John, they've lost 2 players tonight who could very well be out for the season. So after this game, it looks like they will get away with the win. Now Meninga's now got to sit down and work out who he's going to use to replace those 2 players.
Jason Croker, who's come off the bench tonight, is a very handy player who can slot just about anywhere in the side, and that was he who played the ball back to Ricky Stewart. Stewart kicks deep this time. Picked up by Kyle Warren, right on his own line. Royston Lightning went in to make the tackle. In to help him was Noah Nandruku. So inside the last minute, Andrew Duneman looking to get on the outside of the defence, and got away from David Furner. Hetherington over the top, and underneath Ken Nagus with a good tackle on Duneman. Peter Jones.
They deserve to score a try now, the Cowboys.
Well, this will be their last throw of the dice. John Lomax on the last, gets it away to Lumens, now to Bowman. Bowman kicks over the head of Lightning. Back there though is Laurie Daly. Daly takes it, he says it's not over yet. Give it to Brett Mullins and see what he can do. Mullins looking to run it and put to ground. Terrific game of football. The better side has won, but they've been stretched right to the limit tonight by a very brave North Queensland side. Tim Sheens would be disappointed. He would have loved to have had a victory against his old club, but I'm sure he's pretty happy with the commitment his side showed. Great game of football in front of a very vocal crowd of over 22,000. The Canberra deserved winners by 22 points to 14. The downside was the injuries for Canberra to Ruben Wiki and Luke DeVico, but the upside for Canberra will be that's as good a hit out coming into the semi-finals as any side will get.